That's right. It is the Thursday, January 19th. I had to look at the calendar really quick because I couldn't remember what the date was. It's January 19th, Thursday, 2023. We're blazing through the first month of 2023. This is office hours. And let's bring up the coaches, the experts, the trainers, some of the best people in payments that you could ask for. And I realized that let me bring up the overlay there. And there we go. So, on the center screen from Warsaw, Indiana, Mr. Mike Stetchel. Mike, how are you, sir? How is life up in Warsaw?
Very well. Counting down to vacation in a few short days.
That's right. You have a big vacation next week. You won't be
We
with us
do.
next week, and
Now,
that's tropical, right? You're going
yeah,
someplace.
we're going to help our daughter celebrate her 30th birthday in Cancun with her and several of their friends.
That is really awesome, and we will be jealous as you're living a much warmer life. And but on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have Cancun, where I'm assuming your average temperature right now is probably 82, 83 degrees, crystal blue
It looks
water.
like it's there. Yep.
Yep. So, that. And then on the left hand side of your screen now, we have what's happening in the Glenwood Springs area up in the Rocky Mountains. How are things there in Glenwood Springs, Jenny Rickle?
Oh my gosh, it's so cold here, you guys. I think this morning it was 15 degrees. So I
Ooh.
am absolutely a little bit envious, Mike, of a trip to Cancun and a
Oh, I'm
beach.
excited.
But I love the snow, right? Everybody knows that. Like it's cool.
You
So
do.
yeah, it's so much fun. And I wouldn't mind a beach either. So hope you enjoy your time. Like have a cocktail for me sitting on the
Will
beach for
do.
sure. Yes.
Well, I know it's this time of year that we've had an incredibly mild winter
Oh,
here, and I can't complain about it. We've had really, I mean, there was a little snow here in Indianapolis that lasted less than a couple hours, it felt like. And but I know the cold is coming, and wouldn't mind seeing the sun a little bit, though I do see the sun is out today. Out of my
oof.
windows here, I can see just a little bit of sun gleaming through. It'll probably be gone by the time I get up, able to get outside and see it. But that doesn't mean that we don't have important things to walk through. So last week we started a new series that I'm about to bring up. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. Yeah, I've just had a bad run of hitting the wrong buttons in the last couple of weeks. We've started to trust the process, and it's really walking us through our process that you're going to choose who you're going to sell to. We said something a little different last week. The product is not, the hardware, the software. That's actually what we're going to talk to you. That's the offer. The product is you, and making sure you put your best foot forward, that you help walk alongside the merchants that you're going to help so they can serve more customers and take more money from customers. And that is the product. And that is the offer, is what we're going to talk about this week. The offer is really the products and services. So we're going to do a big overview. We've done several episodes on where we've gone in deeper onto POS Pros, and you can watch those. In fact, if I'm really ambitious, I'll link those all together and put them together, and you can watch them all together at some point. But this is a broad overview of what does PaperTech have to offer, and we often use this image when it comes to just our broad offerings. And I would guess, here's what I know of what we've really tried to do is we've tried to make sure, we coined a phrase a couple of years ago, there's no deal left behind.
Hmm.
And when there's a lot of options and opportunities, sometimes it's a little overwhelming. We try to make it as simple as possible. But Mike, can you kind of walk us through? I'm going to bring up the first set of ones we're going to walk through, and I didn't tell which ones I was to do. But Mike, can you kind of walk us through what we have? These are kind of what we call our terminal offerings. You can also rope in the Pay Anywhere Smart Terminal, which we'll bring into in another section here. But walk us through these products, the Ingenico's Deja Vu and Valor. I can help you out with it. As that too.
Yep. That picture's unreal. Nate, you and I are somewhat short timers in this processing game compared to a lot of the people we work with. But if I recall, along the times that you and I came in, we had a VX520. We had a first data terminal that we could use. We used authorized.net. And then we launched one POS that we're selling, and now we have 30 items on that page. Um, Looking at those items you had on the screen there, the Ingenico terminals, there's a Desk 3500, which is what we call our plain old terminal. We call them dumb terminals, to be honest. The Desk 3500 works on the phone line and Ethernet. The Move 5000 will work on uh, cellular device or cellular, or my mind goes blank, Wi-Fi. So we have those flexibilities there. And then the Deja Vu and Valor options are something that we are just getting so close to bringing aboard. I know people have been talking. We've been talking about Valor for a long time. We ran into some stumbling blocks, and we're getting close now to having them all certified on EPX. So we're going to have some really cool Android-based products from Deja Vu and Valor coming very soon. And this is where, again, we can go back to, Valor and Deja Vu have a back office separate from Payments Hub that does a good job separating tips. It separates the non-cash fee, and so you have some breakdowns that you don't have with some of the other terminals I just talked about.
And I think some of this, as you go down this list, it gives you more customization when it comes to, that you mentioned, the back offices, and like with the Valors, and this may be true in the Deja Vu new terminals that are coming on board here, hopefully in the next several weeks, that are Android-based terminals, where you can actually you walk in and it says your brand processing, and it's like part of that product is, hey, that they know that they're processing with you because like it says your name on that, and it doesn't say Papertech, it says whatever you choose to. It could say Papertech, and it has that brand right up there, and then they can customize the receipts and things on some of these new Deja Vu and Valor pieces, which you couldn't do, and you can do on the Pay Anywhere. We're kind of missing there on that smart terminal, but it's a little more customization, but there's also a little more cost and can be a little more work on your end. Jenny, what are you seeing when people come to terminals? Is there a choice terminal that you're seeing used most with the partners you're working with?
I often see the Desk 3500 and the Move 5000 used consistently, just because it's going to be one of those simple terminals that there's not a whole lot of bells and whistles to it. You accept the payment, it prints out the batch report, and it really is popular. So that is definitely one of the more easy to use, user-friendly type of setup. So I definitely see people using that a lot. I do hear a lot of excitement though about Deja Vu and Valor, like Mike was speaking to, in those back office options. And this is just great if you brand yourself. You have these options, like what do you need for your business? What type of terminal do you need? And then you can offer these different products. So this is a great opportunity to brand with us and then have these options and have this, plethora of options that you can use.
It is. It's a lot of things. So, Jenny, I'll come back to you in just a second as we go into these. You have the Hot Sauce, the Mint, the Paradise POS, which is probably one of our longer point of sale systems now. Retail Cloud, Grosszilla, Uzelli, which is your barbershop, and your Applova. These are specifically some of our longer standing point of sales we've been working with. Mint's the newest, I think, on that screen. Any highlights on these 6? Anything you would think of to highlight here, Jenny?
I think the best thing right now is the promotion that we have going for Hot Sauce, right? It's a great point of sale system for the restaurant industry, and we have such a great promotion. If you have a new business that is leaning towards signing up for you, you could go ahead and offer these great bonuses that we have. I think right now we're at a 0 upfront. We are lowering the monthly fees, and then I think there's even an additional bonus for the sales partner. So I would say Hot Sauce is such a great option right now if you have somebody in the restaurant industry that's looking for a point of sale system. And I mean, overall, all of these systems, what's really awesome about these is this connection that we have to the point of sale team, the POS pros, right? They can go through the different definitions, what they offer, the pricing, even help with demos. So along with these great systems, you have a great support team that's going to assist in making sure that you have the right fit for the business and that they're happy, right?
It is. And so I will bring up on the screen just that Spice It Up campaign that we talked about just a second ago. Right now, no upfront cost, $69.99 a month, a $300 bonus extra on top of your regular bonuses, no volume and pricing minimums for the first station. It's a great opportunity to get into it. And when we come back to the opportunities that just we can have, there are just so many when it comes to, I'll bring the screen back up, but when it comes to these POS systems, the Hot Sauce is really the first, but you can walk in and no matter what they want when they're coming in, you're gonna have something that they need. And whether it's here on this next screen, Mike, the Paintingware Quick POS, Solido, which is one of our in-house systems, Micros, which is managed by one of our sister companies, GiveHub, Custom App Build. I mean, this just gives you another set of both high-end micros. You could go and, if you can sign up Hyatt, go for it. They already have micros, so you probably are going to have a hard competition, so I wouldn't suggest it. But I mean, there's a lot of opportunities with these types of systems, right, Mike?
Yep. I was on a demo of Quick POS for the first time the other day. That's, again, one that I will say is newer to us. I know that when the POS pros sign up a new vendor, it is tested and tested and tested, and until we have get access to it, they're making sure everything works well, and then they roll it out to all the agents. Um, as you said, Slido and Micros are those little higher end software that is for that larger restaurant, for that enterprise situation where you may own 4 or 5 restaurants. GiveHub is a great tool for nonprofits and churches. That company will literally provide you a free kiosk for that merchant's organization, where people can give right there at the kiosk. They can do text giving. There is the ability to give online with a special website. Uh, Another thing about GiveHub that's really cool is you can turn on Edge, you can turn off Edge. Either way, though, there's a choice if you would like for your customers. Would you like to pay the credit card fee? The default might be off, but now you can turn it on, or vice versa. Custom app build, I've seen restaurants, certainly during COVID, explore this because they didn't have any online ordering before that. Now, all of a sudden, Jack's Bar and Grill has his own app. Now, all of your marketing you do on your Facebook or in your restaurant will drive people to get this app. And no offense to Grubhub and DoorDash and those others, there's something that have created a lot of sales for restaurants. But having your own custom app also can move the middleman out of the picture. So again, I'm going back to how this looked almost 9 years ago when I joined this company, and we're going through pages and pages of things that we have to offer now.
Well, it just gives us so many. When you walk in, you're not a one-trick pony. There's things you can do when they ask for different resources. Like Quick POS does, you can do tablet and kiosk ordering, and the pay at the table, and online ordering and delivery modules. And when it comes to all the things you need, and we're looking, there's some new retail ones that are hopefully be rolling out pretty quickly with all the things you need in retail and inventory and e-commerce. And that even ties us into one more. Let me bring up the last section here. And the thing is, as we were looking at this is one of our graphics we put together. There's several things, and we'll talk about that are missing, like that from the screen. But Jenny, I mean, when you get into these are more gateways and some software-minded pieces. What are these used for, and what are some of the useful cases for PayTrace? And we even list Payments Hub there to be able to do the invoicing things authorized on that Charge Zoom. What are some of the things that they can look for here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Something that I think is really a great offer that we have is that somebody says, "Can I take online payments?" You have a lot of different options, kind of back to where Mike was saying, like 5, 10 years ago, it was just a one stop. Okay, there's a shopping cart or a virtual terminal. But now it's like, okay, are you going to send invoices? Is it a B2B customer? Do you need a virtual terminal or through recurring billing? So when you have things like Payments Hub, which is really utilized for maybe a invoicing option and recurring payments versus something like authorize.net or NMI, where you have a shopping cart and a website. ChargeZoom is new and PayTrace are newer to our family. ChargeZoom is a great interaction with QuickBooks, so that's a great option for those larger businesses, as well as PayTrace is really good for the B2B families that are out there and need that type of setup. And USA ePay, it has a lot of integrations. So we have a lot of options, and it really goes back to know your customer. What do they need within their setup to accept the credit cards on an online e-commerce type of way? And then you have all these opportunities to go through that. So I think it's a really great option with even our gateways that we can now offer to all of the merchants that are out there.
Muted, Nate.
Hey, I muted as a cough button there. The three that I can think of that we're not regularly using, or that we're regularly using that's not up on that graphic, Fluid Pay.
Yep.
I know we're using that more and more often. It's another gateway option, especially for that card not present, the click to pay type things. And then our e-commerce solutions like WooCommerce, which I set up a local merchant with BigCommerce, which you have a direct integration with. Both WooCommerce it's a direct integration, but you have to use a plugin. BigCommerce is a direct integration right into the BigCommerce software. All these things, you can go e-commerce, any type of card not present, any type of invoicing, anything to go in the net 30 world in the B2B, you have all those options. And I love it that we can just say, look, and we'll even add more to this graphic. This is, I walk in and I know others do and say, look, these are all the things that we have to offer. And there's more for each one that's on this. There's probably, a couple hundred more options and softwares, especially when we start tying into what the gateways all integrate into and all the different ISVs and different POS systems that we could do. These are the main ones that we know a lot about, and the POS pros team and our relationship managers are ready to jump in. But there's just everything is right at your fingertips. Mike, what would you say when it comes to learning your offer, knowing your customers, Jenny said, and making sure, as we'll talk about in the next couple of weeks. Next week, we're going to talk specifically about Edge and that being part of your offer. But in 2 weeks, we'll be specifically talking about proposal. As you start putting that proposal together, you've got to know your customer. That's tying back to the first step, your audience, and making sure you know a little bit of products. What are the first steps just as our partners, especially when they're getting started, to make sure they're putting all those pieces together and understanding the offer that they're truly making to the merchant they're putting that offer in front of?
Well, that starts with training. And
Yep.
part of that is what Jenny and I do with each of the partners as they come aboard. I think there's a second part to that, though, and that's some of the self-guided training, because we have information on our mypayprotect.com site about all of the things that are listed on this picture. And so sometimes it takes a little bit of extra time to where Jenny and I are not going to go through and explain what Mint is versus Solido, and we don't need to go too deep, but if you take some time to go in and commit to reading the information sheets that are in there about each and every point of sale or gateway, you're miles ahead. So then when you're talking to a merchant and you hear a word, well, I need to do level 2 and 3 transactions. Oh, I know that's something I can do with PayProtect. I may not remember it, but I'm going to call my relationship manager and say, hey, what is it we use again for level 2 and 3? Boom, we'll get you signed up for that. And so it's listening to what we say, it's reviewing videos that we have about the products, and it's reviewing the literature we have about the products, just enough to be dangerous, to know that, yep, I can do that. Let me learn more about it, Mr. Merchant. I'm going to come back to you with a lot more information.
So, Jenny, I'll have you respond to this statement. It's better to be proactive than reactive when it comes to your offers. I didn't prep you with this. I'm just intrigued. Do you agree with that? And what does that mean to our partners?
Oh, 100%. Be proactive. When you go out there with confidence, knowledge, and a lot of different products that you can offer, and you're ready to go, the merchant, they will be more responsive to you instead of having to maybe scramble for answers that they're asking you over and over again. Like, be prepared. When I do my trainings, a lot of the time at the end of the time I say, okay, do you have any questions? And they say no, you've covered everything. Not always. Let me back that up. I'm not that good. But a lot of times it's like, make sure that you have a list of the items that you're going to review, the questions that they're probably going to ask. There's definitely frequently asked questions from businesses that are want to accept credit cards. Like, be ready, be proactive so that you can go ahead and gain that confidence, gain their trust, show them that you are the product, right? The more knowledge that you have, the better your product is going to look. Then that's your business, and then you'll be able to sign them up. Reputation is a lot.
It is. And I mean, I bring all three of us back up. We always have so much more to learn. There's more things happening. That's why, there's always going to be a new product, you're the product, a new offering, a new software, a new hardware, always coming on board. That's why we're trying to keep you up to date. but also we're trying to encourage you. Man, you have so much opportunity. It's coming down. We got 2 weeks left. Mike's going to be on the beach next week having fun. We're excited for him. Hopefully, he'll come back rejuvenated and ready to inspire us. But Mike, as you close us out, I'll let you close us out this week.
Okay.
Since you're not here next week, what do you say to our partners as they finish out January? When you come back, it'll be February.
Gosh, I hope that you all are having as much excitement as we have had in our office these last 19 days now. We have been just blessed and blown away by what continues to happen in our business and in our industry. More and more people are still wanting to take credit cards, and you all are out there finding them. So let's just keep this going. I may have mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, but our company did not see the normal slowdown through the holidays. So thank you to all of you out there doing this. Let's continue this right into February. February is going to bring us a really great revenue day, or several days usually, with Valentine's Day. Just know that we're here. And this is what I was explaining to some folks just yesterday. They're trying to understand the difference between us and another company. And as I always tell people, I think the difference is that people here. Just by watching this show, you're familiar with both trainers from this company and the director of our marketing department. You may have met Danny when you started working with us. You may have a relationship manager named Pam. You now know 1/3 of the people in our company by first name. So continue to rely on us. Continue to get out and find new opportunities to use one of these 30 or 40 products listed on that screen. There's not too many ways that we can't accept payments, and that's our intention, as Nate said, going back many years to a campaign called No Deal Left Behind. So let's keep it up and keep up this excitement and great work, team.
I love it. As we close out, we say trust the process. We remember, as Mike has reminded me, it's something I've said before. I stole it from someone else, and I don't even know who it is, so I'll give them credit, but whatever. Every number has a name. Your ID is not important to us. Your name is much more important to us. Every name represents a face. That's why I love doing face-to-face calls.
Yep.
And every face has a success story that we want to be part of, and then we all win. Thanks so much for being part of Office Hours. We'll see you next time, just Jenny and I, next week. And Mike, have a great vacation. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you, everybody.